Say, hey, everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me is my guy, Bobano, as he joins me on every Tuesday. Bobano, it's been a hell of a week for you, I'm sure. How's everything going for you?
Yeah, busy, Jose, obviously, with playoffs going on in two sports, MLB. But no, it's a nice time of year. Lots of excitement. I enjoy watching sports almost every bit as much as winning and betting on sports, and probably more. I enjoy the entertainment factor and just watching everything unfold. So it's been fun. It's been a fun few weeks, and baseball's off to a great start. 12 units of profit on the season for me so far. So we'll hope to keep it going. I think that first month, usually we can pounce on some soft lines and some pitchers that are undervalued and overvalued. But it's going to get tougher as the season goes on. So believe me, we've still got lots of work to do.
100%. We have a lot of work to do. I'm excited to get to all these games. It's going to be a full 15-game card. It's going to be fun to talk about. Shout out the chat real quick, as always. Brian Watson, Top Set, Professor Chris, shout out to Justin, Rocco Rogers, Brad Somerset. And by the way, shout out to Justin. Cashes his first stacks pot of the day. I tailed him. 1-0, the over in the Orioles game last night. It was good times. There's a shout out to you there, my guy. Brad, Christopher Commentini, Travis, all you guys, we appreciate it. And by the way, Justin Stack Pod Part Duh. Second one, Tatum under 30.5 points. Obviously, Justin, I'm not tailing this one, but I do respect this. A shout out to you, my man. Let's get right into this full card, and let's get into the first game, which might not go, but we'll talk about it real quick. Rockies Guardians here. Peyton Battenfield versus our guy Ryan Feltner. Ryan Feltner coming off of a good start, and you don't say that very often with Ryan Feltner. He went 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs at Philadelphia. Does that mean I want to back him here? No. Battenfield has been okay to start off his career, or should I say start off his year. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run at Detroit, but that's Detroit, and he started off 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned in New York, or versus New York, I should say, at home. So it's a pass for me here, but I'd be interested to watch, how Feltner worried, or how Feltner goes from after a good start, So I'll be watching that. But Bobana, what do you think?
So there's no way I'm laying a price like this with Cleveland. They've been terrible at home. They're just not playing great baseball. I mean, they're one game below 500, and the home record's awful right now for Cleveland. Just not hitting as well. Shut out yesterday against Colorado in the opener. Battenfield's been okay. In theory, they should be able to hit Ryan Feltner. Ryan Feltner's high up on the bet against list for me as far as pitchers are concerned. We don't know if this game's going to get played. 70% chance of rain. I definitely favor the Cleveland Bats to come to life here in this game. But I think if you bet Cleveland, you bet the team total. You want nothing to do with minus 210 with this team right now. At least I don't. So I was looking at Cleveland team total over 4.5 in this game. But I don't know if it's going to get played, so be careful with this one. But I did lean over 4.5 minus 110 with the Guardians team total. But again, I don't know if we're going to get this game in.
Yeah, I don't think so. But so we'll pass on it very easily. Red Sox Orioles first game on the actual card here, and I moved on the over yet again here. I got it at over 8.5 at minus 108 earlier today. I'm actually seeing it on Bovada at 9 there at minus 105. So good job by us earlier in the day. Orioles are up to minus 170 now. Kind of makes sense. Corey Kluber. I think, what people are saying about Chris Sale being washed. I think we can say that about Corey Kluber. He might be washed here. And I said earlier today, I'm betting with the bag that if he has a poor start here, it might be time for him to go on the Phantom IL to figure out his shit. And see what happens. But I passed on this game here from a side perspective, obviously on the over. But I mean, it's tough to bet on Bradish just because he's had a poor record against the Red Sox. So over here, hoping for runs. What do you think, Bobana?
Yeah, just like last night. I was on the over in last night's game, cashed a ticket with that between the Red Sox and Orioles. Not a fan of either Sale or Kramer in that game, and I'm back to the well here, over 8.5. Don't pick a side, just bet for some runs, and I think both sides will provide those runs. Kluber's awful right now. He's over the hill. His best days are behind him as far as I'm concerned. You could say that about the guy that pitched last night, too. for Boston. But yeah, they got some issues with this Geezer Emporium that they've got rolling out there every 5 days on the pitching mound. And Kluber's another one of those members right now. Bradish, though, I think Bradish has potential to be decent, but that's about all he'll be. He's like a middle of the pack type of rotation arm at this point. And you mentioned the struggles against Boston, who have been hitting the ball a little bit better lately. So I certainly don't want to lay $160 with him. So yeah, over 8.5 for me, clear choice.
Yep. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page there. And I'm glad I bet it earlier because it's going up as well. So shout out to everyone there. Next game, Dodgers versus Pirates. Noah Syndergaard versus Johan Oviedo. And this line has kept on moving. Last night it was plus 108 to the Pirates. And now we've got it all the way. Let me refresh my page real quick because I saw it at minus 110. But no, it's now minus 115, minus 105, 8. For the total there for the Pirates. And I'm on the Pirates first 5 money line here. It just seems it seems, like a simple play, but Noah Syndergaard just has not been that good this year. His last start against the Mets, and kind of revenge angle, whatever. It's been a while since he's been on that team, so it may not matter, but 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs there, so not bad. And Johan Oviedo has been the best he's ever been, back-to-back starts with 1 earned run. Third start was a no earned run appearance. I just like the Pirates here to keep the momentum. I also like the fact that Brian Reynolds got paid today. Some good vibes in the clubhouse. And obviously, Noah Syndergaard's kind of the poster boy of the guy that gets stolen off of with the new rules. He has a slow delivery. So I expect them to be running. Hopefully they do, and hopefully they get some runs off of them early. So Pirates first 5 money line for me.
So I lean that way, but I like the over more. In this game with these two. I don't know if Oviedo feels like he's been pitched well, but there's some metrics that point out he's not nearly pitched as well as his ERA would indicate, 2.22 ERA, and Dodgers can't hit a lick against lefties, but right now at least they can't. But against righties, they've been pretty potent. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just the last 10 games, 5.08 runs per game against righties and 2.81 against lefties. It's even worse over the last 5 games where they're hitting 0.54 and 0.77 runs per game against lefties. But, it's their preferred side, their preferred matchup tonight. I do think the Pirates can get to Syndergaard, who's not been very good so far this season. So I definitely did lean Pirates first 5 in this game, but I'm not totally sure Oviedo is going to have a clean ride here against this Dodgers lineup tonight. So I prefer the total.
That is the concern for sure. It does feel like Oviedo might be a ticking time bomb here. And Pirates full season are second against righties, 126 weighted runs created plus. Hopefully hanging my hat that they're only 7th, 116th now since the 9th. Maybe a little regression. I don't know. But, it's obviously a Dodgers lineup that is not as good as it has been in years. I love JD Martinez to death, but when he's hitting third, there might be some questions there. Who knows? And I just refreshed my RotoWire page, and it's not JD Martinez hitting third. It's the other guy. It's the other reclamation project, Jason Hayward. So it's just really there's no one on this lineup besides.
Just put it out on the board when he comes to the plate. Yeah,
exactly. Mookie and Freeman are the only people that really scare me in this lineup. So I'm hoping Johan can keep his shit together. So it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one for sure. Let's move on to our next game. A really good game here. Who knows? This could be an ALCS preview here. Let's talk Astros Rays. Drew Rasmussen versus my guy Luis Garcia. And Luis Garcia made a big change in his last time out. Apparently he's been a fun-loving guy recently, et cetera. And the coaches told him, get angry. And then he went out there, got angry, pitched really well against the Toronto Blue Jays. 7 innings, 2 hits. No one runs there in an 8-1 victory. So shout out to Luis Garcia. I don't want to back him here just because he's like, he started pitching angry. Now he's fixed. I don't know how concrete that is. So I'll watch here from a side perspective. But shout out to our guy TJ. TJ, I tell these gifts when he gives them out, and I'll keep doing it. TJ's gift is the over in this game, over 7.5 minus 120. I like Drew Rasmussen a lot, so I'll be interested to see here another play that you could, if you've been making it, there's been cashing, obviously, just raise -1 at home. It's just, it seems like an auto bet, but obviously they're starting to price you out of it a little bit. So A pass game for sides, over full game, 7.5 minus 120 for me. Bobana, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel like even though both pitchers are capable when they're on top of things, especially Rasmussen for Tampa Bay, that the two lineups right now, the way they're going, 7.5 looks a little light. It does. So I don't mind the overlook there. It's not my favorite total on the board tonight, but I would certainly play a little small bet at least on over 7.5. I mean, Houston's gone over, I believe, 7-2 in their last 9 games. Tampa Bay, we know all season what a monster they've been offensively. They looked like they were starting to cool off for a bit. They had lost 3 of 4. And sure enough, they've ripped off 6 straight wins since then and scored at least 4 runs in every game. And that's the thing. During this 6-game win streak, they've scored at least 4 runs in every game. So if they get their 4 minimum, you're going to have a damn good chance there to get over 7.5. You just get a few from Houston, and you're in pretty good shape here. So I think that 7.5 to the over is worth a look. I could only look at Tampa here, but I'd probably go -1 full game for some value. I haven't bet it, but we'll lean that way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Shout to the chat as well. We've got us a lot of Rays love on here. Christopher Commentini saying that Jason Hayward should be brought up on stolen money charges. Shout out to the Cubs for that one. And by the way, shout to Top Set. He's at the Hard Rock in Florida, Hollywood, Florida. I was at the Hard Rock last night in San Antonio for a little show that we did last night. So shout to Pop Culture TV as well. So shout to Hard Rocks as well. Sponsored the show. Very nice of them. Let's talk about our next game, Seattle versus Philly. We had a pitching change in this one. No more Logan Gilbert. Now we have Marco Gonzalez. And as it was contractually obligated in the NFL to mention that Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard and all that stuff, we have to mention it. Marco Gonzalez went to Gonzaga. We can't forget that. That's what everyone says every time we bring him up. Marco Gonzalez, the Gonzaga pitcher, lefty. He's okay. He's all right. I'm not backing him here. I had this game capped as Logan Gilbert. I'll be watching just to see how Marco does. It feels like it's been a minute since we've seen Marco. I looked up trying to find out why. I didn't get any news on him. It was weird. I looked up on ESPN. The first news they had on him was 4 years ago. I was like, Jesus. All right. Bailey Falter's been fine this season, but 0-3 so far. So I'll be watching to see how it goes. But I passed on this game. What do you think, Bobano?
Yeah, as far as for me with this one with Martinez and with Gonzalez and Falter on the mound, I think I would actually lean a little bit here to the Mariners at a small underdog price. Gonzalez, the lefty, 3.78 ERA. His last start against Milwaukee was better. Actually, his last 2 have been better after a first start against Cleveland. It wasn't great. 3 runs allowed over his last 11.2 innings. I just think Seattle now, and plus, if you look at Seattle, they haven't been that bad away from home this year so far as well. Entering this game tonight with a decent, at least, road record there at 3-3, 6-4 at home for the Philadelphia Phillies here this season, but still 1 game below 500. I'm not a big fan of Bailey Falter. I haven't bet the game, but I definitely lean Seattle.
Yep. Okay. That's fair. I like both these squads. And I think the Seattle Mariners are one of the hardest teams for me to cap.
No.
I don't know why. It just seems like when they play other teams that aren't in their division, I just have no feel of how they'll do. So
in theory, they have 3 pitchers I'm always interested in backing with Castillo and Kirby and with Gilbert. But unfortunately, there's been other aspects of this team that have been kind of not so great. The offense has been hit or miss. The defense hasn't been as good. Bullpen's had some issues. So, yeah, that's been all catalysts for Seattle being, what they are right now, which is 2 games below 500.
Yep, and thank God for them that they had Jared Kelenic break out a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
carrying them a bit.
If it wasn't
Definitely.
for him, they'd be in a tough spot. Next game, let's talk Rangers Reds. Luke Weaver back on the bump versus my guy Martin Perez here. And it seems like everyone and their moms is on the Rangers. Rangers first 5. Rangers. I like the Rangers. But honestly, everyone, the overwhelming love for the Rangers made me stay off. Truthfully, I haven't moved on this game. And all the numbers are leaning towards the Rangers. They're second against righties this year, or should I say second since the 9th, 135 weighted runs created plus. Third for the full season, 123 weighted runs created plus. While the Reds against lefties, 75 weighted runs created plus, full season's 26 in the league. And since the ninth, 63 weighted runs created plus there. Again, 27th in the league. So just bad numbers. And it feels like a Rangers spot, but I'm just a little skittish, I guess. Bobana, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, I think when you look at this game tonight, I think I lean Texas too, but I'm not laying a price on the road like this with Martin Perez because I do think there's been some evidence that he's not pitching nearly as well. He's been giving up some harder hit contact this year. Problem is the Reds, you mentioned it, are bottom tier against lefties. And I certainly want no part of them with Luke Weaver on the mound. This is not someone that I trust. He's 6 ERA already this year. I didn't prognosticate him to have much success this year. Rangers have been hitting righties pretty good this year. So this does feel like a Rangers spot, Rangers victory here. But I don't want to lay that price. I'd look more Rangers team total over if I were to get involved there.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It seems like this is an easy Martin Perez play, but it's never easy. So an easy pass game for us here. I'm very interested to see what happens in this game, just because I do feel skittish about it.
I have to say, though, the magic of Bruce Bochy, man. I knew when they hired that guy, he's not coming out of retirement unless he thinks there's something there with this ball club. And they're off to a nice start.
The offense is there, especially against righties. The offense against righties is great. Lefties will figure that out eventually, but sneaky playoff team, this Rangers squad. They might it seems like they might take the Seattle Mariners spot in that division, but who knows? It's going to be a good fight there. White Sox versus your Toronto Blue Jays. Ian, minus 200 here. And normally on a Jose Barrios day, I would be on the other side, but it just kind of, again, all the numbers just say Blue Jays here. So I'm truthfully expecting the Blue Jays to kind of smack the White Sox here. Like Pete was saying earlier, he feels like it would be like an 8-2 kind of ball game. Jose Barrios, obviously we know, better pitcher at home. The White Sox against righties right now, since the ninth, they're the second worst team in baseball against righties, 65 weighted runs created plus. Just can't bet on them right now. So it's probably a Blue Jay spot for me here. But at minus 200, it's kind of tough to find your play here.
Yeah, I took a small shot. I've got the over first 5 in full game, but a little bit more amount on the first 5 over at 4. It was 4.5. I think it's gone up to 5, the first 5 inning total now in this game. But I think you'll see runs early. I mean, Clevenger to me, the one thing he struggled with is home run ball. And man, in this ballpark, in this lineup, that could be a problem for him, especially with the dimensions brought in with the Renos at Rogers Center. So this doesn't look like a good fit for Clevenger, this ballpark, and Toronto should be able to do some damage. Barrios has pitched better the last 2 starts, and historically, since he's been with the Jays, he's been good at Rogers Center. He's been awful on the road. That's usually been the trajectory with him. But, I don't know if he's going to completely shut the door here against the White Sox. Keep in mind, the White Sox have had success with him in the past. They've seen a lot of him going back to when he was with Minnesota. So I think they could put some runs on the board too. So over in the first 5 in full game, but for me, I defer a little bit more to the first 5, kind of like last night, because the bullpens did shut it down late and the full game stayed under last night. So, but the first 5 went over. So that's why I've got a little bit more on the first 5 over in this game.
Yeah, I would agree with you there on the total for sure. Over here. It just kind of makes sense. And you just gotta have to hope that the White Sox can contribute in any kind of faction here. And everyone knows I think Jose Barrios is really bad. So I've been interested to see how this game goes. So I pass here, but I'll be watching just to see the enemy of my enemy, Jose Barrios, hopeful's downfall, but hopefully some runs for you, Bobana.
Jose, it's like that Imagine Dragons song, Jose Barrios, my enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Go, yeah. Jose Barrios wants to be my enemy. There you go.
Funny. And it's funny. I actually know Imagine Dragons, so there you go, Bobana. Thank you for the references.
I don't even listen to them, but they've been on commercials, and that song specifically so much I can't help but get stuck in my head.
Yeah, they are absolutely a favorite commercial of ESPN and everything. So I agree with them. Let's shout out the chat real quick before we talk Nationals, Mets. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, hit the like button while you're here. We appreciate it. Christopher Commentini, I did take his soul. I did in fact take his soul. That's why he can't travel anymore. He has to stay at home, recharge, and then on the road, he knows what's happening. Top set not liking the Barrios there. Shout out to Cheshire Cat, Rocco Rogers, Cuban Connect, Jorge Don't Play. Shout out to you, my man. Appreciate you for watching. Real Deal Prime, Nunya in here. Professor Chris, as always, he has his model has the J spot on it, minus 200 here. Nunya thinking he might choke. I wouldn't be surprised at it at all. And Brian Watson, to answer your question, I was on the over in that game as well as Bobano, so we both like it there. And shout out to Nasty Nate watching the program. Shout out to my guy. All right, let's do this next game here, the Mets and the Nationals here. And I have been a huge proponent of Josiah Gray. I have backed him on several occasions. And in the last 3 games, the Nationals have given him a grand total of zero runs in support. It has been fucking brutal backing him. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and a 1-0 loss at home for the Orioles. Tough. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and a 2-0 loss at the Angels. I believe that was the Ohtani start that we lost a minus 300 fade. That was extremely tough. And then his last start before then, 6 innings, 8 hits, 1 run, and a 1-0 start at Coors. So it's just been brutal backing my man Josiah Gray here. But here I am yet again saying that I think that's the right side. We've got our guy Jose, as Jimmy's calling him, Jose Bouquett. I'll call him Jose Butto because that's what his name looks like to me here. Shout out to my man Butto here. I by the way, Bobana, when I was doing research on this game, Jose, I think there's 7 Jose pitchers in the league. And shout out to all of them. But Jose Butto is my least favorite of them all. I can say that for sure. Now, it might be the case because we are the exact same. A 25-year-old Venezuelan. Maybe he's just. Maybe I'm a little envious that he's in the majors. Who knows? But I don't trust him here. At the end of the day, he had a good start last time against Oakland. But that's Oakland. 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. Is he just going to be one of those guys that beats on the little guys, beats on the shitty teams here? So I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see how it goes. But I'm passing here. Absolutely lean towards the Nationals here with Josiah Gray, but the offense is just scary. I've got PTSD from the Nationals offense.
I think most people do. I mean, it's been awful, this Nationals offense. I've lost some overs because of this team of late because of their lack of offensive punch. So I'm not in a rush to trust them, certainly at the offensive end of things. Mets have lost 2 in a row, so they may not take the Nationals lightly here. The Mets far superior offensively against righties. So that's the issue. I mean, I like the price and I like Gray and I like him better on the road and all that. And he's pitched well the last couple starts, but you got to have some offense to, back a pitcher, and they don't have any right now. So I think I'd look at a first 5 under in this game. Honestly, I think if you were to bet something in this game, that's what I'd look at.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it. If first 5 full game unders, everyone heard the scores of the games.
Bouquett wasn't bad against Oakland for the Mets when he pitched against them earlier this month. And is Washington's lineup that much better than Oakland right now? No. In fact, it might be worse. I know not might.
I think it is actually worse too. And that's tough to do. That's fucking tough to do. But yeah, I mean, again, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0 his last 3 starts. So I absolutely understand if you take the under here for sure. But I'll mention this. Josiah Gray did pitch against the Mets twice last year. 4 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs.
Yeah.
So
for some reason, this has been a kryptonite for him. Yep.
Exactly. So maybe it's just a good squad, but pass, as we all say here. Let's move on. Shout out to DX Filer for watching here. Appreciate you, my guy Steen. Let's talk Marlins Braves here. Brian Honing making his debut this year. And, I'm interested because he was a reliever all last year, made 1 start, got absolutely crushed against the Dodgers, but that was a really, really good Dodgers team, obviously. 3 innings and 7 earned runs. Can he bounce back here? He's had 2 appearances in the minors, back-to-back shutouts, 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 5 1/3, 2 innings, 1 run, none of them earned. Can he shut down the Braves in a debut? I would be interested here in the Miami Marlins. I guess I can't trust them all the way here. And Charlie Morton has been overall okay this year. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. And then in 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned again there. And those are good opponents. The Padres twice, and then the Royals sandwiched in between the middle there. So I pass here. I can't fade Charlie Morton yet. He's still feeling good, I suppose. So it's definitely a lean towards the Marlins and the dog here, though. What do you think, Bobano?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know old man Morton and what we've come to expect. He's actually pitched okay, 3.22 ERA. His last, well, really all 4 starts have been serviceable. 3 runs or less in all 4. We'll see if he keeps that going here tonight against Miami. Question is, what are you going to get from Brian Hoeing, who's 26-year-old? Trevor Rogers, of course, on the IL, so that's why he's in the rotation and starting tonight. Look, he wasn't good in the majors last year when he got an opportunity. He's been good in AAA this year so far, 2.08 ERA, but when he made that climb to the big leagues last year, he got roughed up. So at the same time, too, with Morton against the Marlins, there are a couple pieces of evidence where he's been hit by them. So it'll be interesting to see if he can correct that here tonight facing this Miami Marlins team. I mean, the Marlins, of course, offensively, at times they've been a little bit better offensively than we've thought, but it's actually funny that 4 straight times that Morton has started against the Marlins, including both games last year, both games ended up going over the total. So that's kind of where I'm looking here, over 8.5 here. And it's actually up to 9, I believe, now in a lot of books. Now, yeah, it is 9 across the board. I think Caesars is a lone wolf 8.5. So if you can find it there, go for it. But yeah, at 8.5, I liked it. 9, not so much, but definitely over for me.
Beautiful. Over there for us. And we obviously know Bobano's not an over or an under better, excuse me. So shout out to you, Bobano. I feel the same way about baseball right
But
now.
I'll always say when I will bet an under, or when I would bet an under
Yeah.
if I did bet them, which I don't.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I can bet many of them right now in baseball. Speaking of one I bet yesterday and I lost in Tigers Brewers here, I bet the under 4.5. Of course, they score 5 runs in the first 5 innings, and of course, they don't score any other runs in the full game, and I lose my first 5 bet, and the full game goes under, just in very classic fashion. Spencer Turnbull versus Eric Lauer today. And I saw a tweet that alerted me, and I was very interested. Eric Lauer has had the largest fastball velocity drop in the majors. Last year, he hit a 92 mile an hour.
Certainly from what I've read, among the most. Yep,
Yeah,
biggest drop. Yep.
last year he had a 92 mile an hour fastball. In his last start, he averaged an 89 mile an hour fastball, 89 and a half to be exact. So I honestly, in normal circumstances, I'd probably lean towards the Brewers here, but that worries me. And obviously lefties aren't particularly known for throwing the ball very hard. There's particularly a lot of soft tossing lefties out there, and at 93, 92, Eric Lauer was probably already considered one, but at barely touching 90 mile an hour, I mean, I need to see it here. I guess he's pitched okay again this year. The only time he got crushed was against the Cardinals, but he's a lefty against the Cardinals. We kind of all figured that. So a pass here for me. I've got nothing here, and I want nothing to do with the Tigers here. So what do you think, Bobano?
Yeah, I mean the Tigers. Look, I actually jumped in on the Tigers last night, and it was more so that I wanted to fade Colin Ray for Milwaukee, and I thought they could do a little bit of damage. They did, and the Tigers got the job done in that one. I like Detroit again here, quite honestly. When I look at the matchup, Spencer Turnbull, really he is being, I guess, hurt by the first 2 starts he had because that has inflated his ERA. But if you look at the last 2 starts facing Cleveland, facing Toronto, he's been a lot better. He's given up just 4 runs in his last 10.1 innings. That's a good sign for Spencer Turnbull, maybe turning things around. It was 2 years ago, but he shut out the Brewers the last time he faced them. Eric Lauer, you're right. I have concerns. Now, the last 2 starts, he's been all right against both San Diego and Seattle, leading his team to victory in both games. But don't look now. You won't believe who in the last, I would say, handful of weeks has been hitting lefties pretty good. Yeah, that's the Detroit Tigers. The last 10 games, 273, 4.5 runs per game. versus lefties. Last 5 games, 308 average for this team against left-handed pitching. So the Tigers are starting to swing that bat a little bit more now against left-handed pitching, which means I think this price is just too high given the matchup here. And the fact Turnbull looks like he's starting, and I like Turnbull. I think Turnbull's still going to be a bet on pitcher long term, and he's starting to turn things around. So Tigers first 5 at a plus price, Tigers full game at a plus price, the old classic Ian Cameron MLB moneyline split, first 5 full game, and also the team total over 3.5 at even money. I think they get 4 runs tonight, again, just like last night.
Yeah, I like that team total look. I like that team total look a lot there. I agree with you. 13th, they're 13th right now since the 9th. 180 runs created plus, dead average there. 40 plate appearances, small, but they're hitting them. So, shout out to you there, Bubano. Lefty battle there, or I should say, taking on the lefty and Eric Lauer, and hopefully his fastball velocity stays down for you. We'll be interested to see how that goes. Good matchup here, Yankees and Twins here. Joe Ryan versus Nestor Cortez. We remember Joe Ryan last pitching against the Yankees in that 11-3, I think the last score was. Beat down to Jose Burrito, Joni Burrito, whatever fucking guy's name is. I doubled up on the Yankees that day. Killed me. It was very annoying. I mean, here's the thing. I looked at Joe Ryan's career, and I was trying to find some double up spots to see how he does, and basically back to backs, and he kind of fares the same either way. Maybe 1 or 2 earned runs in the second start because obviously they see him a little better. But I think Nestor Cortez at a plus price is interesting here. But the only thing I could bet is unders here, and I'm just a little scarred for betting unders right now. So I pass on this game, even though I really like Joe Ryan. He's one of my guys here, but the Twins offense just not hitting. So nothing.
Yeah, I'd lean under, and I have a small, and I mean small Twins first 5 full game split, but it's just because I've backed Joe Ryan consistently going back to last year, and he's cashed every single time for me, including in the meeting against the Yankees just recently. But I think it'll be a little bit more difficult. You're still facing a Yankees lineup that can be tough, and you're facing them in a short turnaround here. So I don't know if Ryan's going to cruise through this start like before. And Cortez, matches up well against the Twins, who just don't hit a lick off left-handed pitching so far this year. So it definitely feels like, in theory, this is a matchup that should dictate to a low-scoring game. But I was on the Twins last night with Gray in that one over Brito, and I think I'm going to come back to them here tonight, but I don't like it as much as last night. It's just basically I'm on the Twins simply because I've been betting Joe Ryan every start going back to late last year, and I've won every time. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I love Joe Ryan. I got Jimmy to bet him to win Rookie of the Year last year, unfortunately for Jimmy, but I like him a lot. And it makes me sick that when I fucking fade him and I bet on the Yankees, the team I hate, and I fucking lose so dramatically or so drastically. So
yeah, almost like, what the hell am I doing? I hate this team and I love this pitcher, and yet I'm the team I hate and against the pitcher I love.
Of course, and of course, I backed them yesterday. First 5 teams all over 1.5. They fucking can't muster over 2 runs in the full game. So, yeah, I'm kind of over betting the Yankees. I'm done betting the Yankees. It's shocking to see that the Yankees have annoyed me in yet another fashion. So, we'll move on from talking about those fucking bums, and let's talk Padres Cubs here. And let's talk about another bum, Blake Snell. Has not won any of his starts.
Good segue.
Thank you. He's not won any of his starts this year. Justin Steele's been great. I don't know, I'll call him a revelation for the Cubs, but something they really desperately needed, some sort of development in that pitching staff, and they've definitely got it with Steele and others in this pitching staff. Obligatory mention that I have a futures ticket to the Cubs to win the World Series this year, but that means I give that to a gift to someone, so I hope it cashes for them. So I am a little biased towards the Cubs as well, but they've just been doing the damn thing. The only thing I honestly lean here is over, just because I do understand Justin Steele has been pitching well. How long is it going to last? It's always the question. 2 earned runs, 1 earned run in his last 3 starts at Oakland, at the Dodgers, and versus the Texans, Rangers at home. It's just nothing I can back here, but the 7.5 total at Wrigley Field usually means one thing and one thing only. The weather and the wind here are going to be a factor as I refresh my page real quick. I've got 10-mile-an-hour winds kind of blowing right to left there, and it dies down to about 9 throughout the game. But I don't want to mess with this game at all. And truly, maybe it's just a trap for Blake Snell here and the Padres. I don't know. But ultimately, like I said, it's just a pass game for me here, Bobano.
Not a pass game for me. I think there's a world of difference between these two starting pitchers. I like the Cubs here. First 5 full game split to get the job done. I like Made of Steel, Justin Steele. He's pitching well. And to be honest with you, I think I'd take the Cubs right now, hitting lefties against the Padres right now, hitting lefties. But more than anything, this is just an issue I have with Blake Snell. At this point in time, don't trust him at the moment. He's given up hard hit contact. His control can basically wane at any moment in time. And to be honest with you, the Padres are playing mediocre baseball. They're a 500 team. That's exactly what they are. They actually have been better on the road, so maybe there's a slight concern about that. Cubs are just 6-7 at home here at Wrigley, but I still like the Cubs. The price is reasonable. I'm on them first 5 full game split.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, Bobano. And I don't remember how you did last Tuesday, but I remember I had a shit Tuesday, or just not a profitable one. And I remember we were both on a lot of things. It was one of those things where it was like, I'm dragging you down, or where you're building me up, Bobano.
I think it was up and down for me. I think it was a small loss. It wasn't terrible last Tuesday, but it wasn't my best day.
Yeah, and let's say it feels like it might be the same case here, Bobano, where we're kind of liking the same thing. And I've not moved on the Cubs, obviously, but I'm hoping
Jose will sacrifice both of us losing if he bets the Cubs for me winning. So I appreciate
exactly. That's the point here. I'm not trying to drag you down a little bit. So I'll be interested to watch this game, but no play for me here. I lean Cubs, obviously, but I sense something weird in this game. I don't know. Next game, Oakland A's, Los Angeles Angels, and a game I actually really, really want to talk about here. I have doubled up on your Oakland Athletics, now to be known as the Vegas Athletics. Probably soon to be name changing the Vegas Aces too again, I'm sure. So they can make some card reference with the A's there. I don't know. Mason Miller, I think, is a dude. He came up. I was interested to watch him start throwing 103. I was like, okay, what? We don't see that often from starters. He was fast-tracked throughout the minors. I think someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he threw a combined like 60 innings in the minors. That is nothing. So I'm backing him here. I took the Oakland A's first 5 money line. I also took them plus a half here as well. So I just kind of a mini double up here to reference that I just have units on them, and I believe in Mason Miller here. And the offense, obviously going to be a concern, especially after having 11 runs last night. So that's why I did take the plus a half there. So if I do end up pushing, because Griffin Canning's not a slouch. He's had 2 good starts, one against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, which is impressive to me, even though we kind of know the Yankees offense is kind of shit. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. And then versus the Nationals, which whatever, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs there. The A's against righties are 86th weighty run creator plus. There's 21st since the 9th. So I'm buying in. I'm buying in early on the Mason Miller train. So Oakland first 5 and first 5 plus a half. I got first 5 plus 130, first 5 minus a half, or plus a half, excuse me, at plus or minus 110. There we go. Bobana, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not laying it with the Angels. And Miller does have some upside. I prefer to sit this one out and just watch it, take it in, see how he looks. And then if he's pitching well, maybe we look at spots to back him in the future. I just need to see him get that first start under his belt. Let's see how he fares in this first outing. I was on the over last night with these two teams, and that was an absolute slugfest. I probably would be back on the over because I think the Athletics could hit Canning a little bit, but I don't know what Miller's going to do, so it leaves me off the game.
It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to be sweating this game out. I was going to say I don't love betting the shit teams, but I did say earlier today that I've backed Josiah Gray in what feels like almost all of his starts. Yeah, I guess I do love betting shit teams, and here I am betting the Oakland A's yet again. Next game, and we can maybe push through these next 2 games kind of quickly because I didn't have any action on either of these next 2 games here. Brady Singer versus Ryan Nelson, and every time I see Ryan Nelson, I always want to call him Reese Nelson. I don't know why. He just struggled last time out. 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 earned runs versus the Padres, and a Padres team that's not hitting really right now. We obviously know that they have the names and the talent, but they're just not hitting. I expect that to change, but when you give up runs to the Padres right now, I consider that to be notable. And Brady Singer has just not been good this year. I thought he made the leap last year, and it seems like he's kind of taking a step back this year. So maybe he's going to get warmed up, whatever. But he's just not been good so far this year. 5 earned runs against the Rangers, 8 earned runs against the Braves, and 5 earned runs against the Giants. Those are good offenses, I guess. But still, those are just unacceptable numbers. So I passed here. Maybe you lean towards an over here, but a 10's just a little bit too much. So
I do like the over here, but again, I got 9.5 minus 115. It's up to 10 in most spots. I'd say bet it, because even if it lands on 10, you get a push. You won't lose. If it gets to 10.5, then I might pump the brakes. But I mean, I'm just going based on form. I mean, Nelson, to me too. I mean, there is signs of the regression machine catching him, and maybe we saw some of that in that first start. Brady Singer's been an awful disappointment. I mean, I think a lot of people expect him to be better than this, but he's just been crushed now. 3 straight starts. I've got to fade him until I see improvement. So yeah, that leaves me at the over here.
yeah, and it's kind of started in the WBC. I thought he would be the best ML or the best American pitcher in the WBC, and he just kind of shit the bed there too. So, yeah, I agree with you guys. Let's move on to our last game, and let's shout out the chat before we get there. Christopher Commentini, Cheshire Cat, Professor Chris, shout out to Jacqueline for joining us there. Noli Knows was on our first 5 under in that previous game there. I believe it was Kansas City, Arizona. Let us know for sure, because he just put first 5 under, so let us know there. Noli Knows. Maybe you're at a different point. Man Bear Pig, Rocco, Justin, we appreciate you guys. Saturated saying go Cubs, go. And Rocco on the Cubs as well. So I can see why you guys are on it. I definitely can see why you guys are on there, because I like them as well. Shout out to the Reed DJ as well for joining us in here. Now let's get into this last game. Cardinals Giants in a series that I feel like I have no feel on. Just no feel. It feels like every time I talk about the Giants, I should consult Nutflush Allen, like Jimmy said to, or not say Jimmy, Pete said that this morning as well. And Nutflush, like he mentions, he always needs to see the lineups, and we don't have lineups. So who knows? Apparently, according to RotoWire, we're getting a John Baribia starter, or opener, I should say. And then we're going to go with Jakob Eunice, I should say. Jakob Eunice is back in our lives here. I always say that, especially with the Giants, because the Giants have been one of those teams since Farhan Zaidi got there, that if you're an old veteran pitcher, go to the Giants. They'll figure something out with you. They'll play with your pitch arsenal, tell you to throw this more, throw that less, et cetera, and they'll get to you, and they'll get you better, or whatever. The second year of being in that program, there always seems to be diminishing returns, so I don't end up wanting to back them in the first year, in the second year, always the first year. Shout out to Sean Manaea is a good example of that. I don't know where he's gone. He's probably on the IL, and I just haven't heard about it, because who knows where the Giants are. But a pass game for me here, unfortunately.
All right, it's a pass game for you. It is for me as well. Honestly, it's this tricky one with these two. I actually kind of lean Cardinals here. Woodford, but he's just so up and down. I think there's potential there in him, and I don't think I don't really want the Giants in a situation where you're going to get Brebbia for a few innings, and they're going to trot out a bunch of relievers after that. Lean Cardinals, but no involvement.
I'm glad we're on the same page there, Bobano. Nothing for us there. All right. A nice, quick, fast pace, 15-game card there broken up. We appreciate everyone, as always, for watching us. We're going to recap our card here. As always, we appreciate you guys. And remember, if you guys need somewhere to bet, go support our guys at Bet Online. Promo code Pub Sports. You'll get a little deposit match. A good way to support the pub, and a good way to bet. They're good lines over there. And particularly for sides and totals. Their sides and total lines are really, really good. So shout to them. But let's get into it. My plays, I'm not going to make any additions. I'm keeping it kind of tight here. I'll mention my leans real quick as well. But I'm on Pirates first 5. I got them earlier today at even money. Orioles, Red Sox over 8.5 minus 108. Shout out to the gift TJ there, over 7.5 minus 120 in the Houston and Tampa Bay game, and the Oakland double up there. First five money line, first five plus a half, first five money line plus 130, and first five plus a half there at minus 110. Believing in Mason Miller. I also had leans, obviously. I'll mention those. Baltimore team total over was a lean. Didn't get there. Pittsburgh first five team total over was a lean. White Sox team total was a lean, but I just think, like I mentioned, was Jose Bouquett. Think he pitches well, so I stayed off there. Cubs first five full game money line. I actually wrote down two. Funny enough, just thinking that Snell will struggle. Nationals first five plus a half, and then the Rangers first five minus a half. All leans there for me, but a small 5-game card or 5-play card for me there. Bobana, what do you have here?
All right, let's do the recap. As always, for me, it's a much longer recap. Dodgers Pirates over 8 minus 116. Marlins Braves over 8.5 minus 120. Cubs minus 110 first five. Cubs minus 118 full game. Red Sox Orioles over 8.5 minus 118. Astros Rays over 7.5 minus 115. White Sox Jays over 4.5 minus 140 first five, and a little bit more on that, less on over 9 minus 114 White Sox Jays full game. Twins minus 120 first five, and Twins minus 125 full game. Oakland, LA, no, I passed that game, sorry. Cleveland team total over 4.5, but again, be careful with that. It may get postponed or interrupted by rain. Detroit plus 135 first 5 innings. Detroit plus 155 full game. Detroit team total over 3.5 minus 120. And Kansas City, Arizona over 9.5 minus 120, but still endorse it at 10. There we go.
Beautiful. Let's get into it, Bobano. It's going to be a fun evening of baseball. I'm sure you've got a lot of hockey going on as well. First rounds are rapidly ending. A shout out to the Maple Leafs for having a generational win last night. I'm sure you're watching that game. I'm sure that maybe even screams and yells could be heard where you're living. Maybe there's some Leafs fans out there enjoying themselves. So
the smart ones are not celebrating a damn thing yet because they still have a fourth win to get, and they've been to this precipice many times in recent years. So no celebration. If I were a Leaf fan, which I'm not, I would not be celebrating until I see this fourth win. Until then, we got work to do. That's how
I can't wait. I hope they do get that fourth win so they can celebrate like they won the Stanley Cup, and then see the Bruins, and the Bruins just give them the work again. Just do it all over again. But it's fun. I love beating the Leafs. But Bano, thanks so much for joining me on these Tuesdays, as you always do. I appreciate it. Where can the people find you next?
I'm going to be on this channel. I'll be on Friday, betting with the bag with Jimmy. I'll be on every 2 Fridays, moving at least for the duration of the summer and the MLB season. So it's every 2 weeks on Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So check me out there. And of course, every Tuesday right here.
Beautiful. Awesome, Bobana. Thank you so much. Let's keep climbing out of this hole. It's going to be a fun summer this year. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Tomorrow, I'll be in a different setup. I'm going to be in Austin for a week. I'm dog sitting for someone, Bobano. So I'm staying in a person's apartment. I'll just be chilling by myself in Austin, Texas. It'll be nice. And I'll have a different setup, and hopefully the Wi-Fi is good. So we got our fingers crossed for all that. So tomorrow will be a little different, but it'll be a whole lot of fun. Bobano, thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to say hey to us on social media, at Bobano, at Jose Bouquett. We'll see you guys next time for another edition of Say Hey Plays.